Hey, it's Lou Shannon Binns, or Bloody Lou, somewhere in Snowdonia, the foothills of Snowdonia, Harrier, if I pronounce that right. Just listen to the latest podcast, the Lakeland edition with Gary. Fantastic listen. And it's lovely to see you at the weekend. Just going to head down to Climperdarn, maybe with a brew on the paddleboard, and maybe sneak another episode of the Tea and Trails podcast. So for everyone else, settle down, grab a brew, stop your Garmin, and listen to the next episode of Tea and Trails podcast with Gary and Eddie.
Lou Shannon Binns provides this week's intro, and it was lovely to see you too, Lou, at the Lakeland 100. That was a very professional intro, Eddie.
When I am looking for my new co-host, there's always an advert out. Not many applicants. Welcome. Sincerely welcome. Settle into that run. Loosen off those shoulders. Change into fifth gear. What's your favourite gear when you're driving the car, Gary?
Third.
Are you
punchy.
Oh, if there's a gear that sums up Gary, welcome to episode 88. The one where the sun is shining all over the UK. What a difference it makes. Blues.
It's not so shiny in the northeast.
Shiny in Scotland. This week we chat with Kate Parker from Harrier Trail Running. Total joy. You're going to love that chat. Brew with the coaches, Tales from the Trails. We pop over to our ever-blossoming Strava Club. And the moment you've all been waiting for, our weekly deets. Oh my gosh, there's some exciting things happening. That's a total lie. There isn't. Just keep on listening.
Thank you, our Patreon partners who share some awesome discount codes with our Patreons. We have Precision Fuel and Hydration, Vela Forte, Protein Rebel, Tiki Boo, Mount Fuel, Outdoor Active, Silver Sweden, Active Route, the Centurion Running Store, sportshoes.com, Big Bubble Hats, X Miles, Bonside Farm Cottages, Ugogu Projects, Hellfire Events, Red Bear Sports, the Alban app, Retainer Group, Cycle Protection, Summit Crazy, Beat It Sports, Lumi Activewear, Phoenix Lights UK, Bridgedale Socks, Nav4, NAC Nutrition, and Ultra Trails 2. Extra shout out to Precision Fuel and Hydration and Protein Rebel. We use their products every day to help fuel, hydrate, and recover.
I almost clogged up my little NutriBullet thing this morning because I was heavily involved in a chat with the man fixing the guttering. I wasn't concentrating, and I put in. You meant to put the liquid at the bottom and then the powder at the top to stop the thing clogging. And I put my Protein Rebel protein powder at the bottom, and it couldn't cope with the volume of. Anyway,
do you get so lonely at home? though? I get, because I'm pretty much on my own all day at home.
I will chat to anyone. I will chat to anyone. He happened to have 4. He met Lindy, and Lindy, you love a GSP or you hate a GSP, and he said, I've got 4 GSPs at home, and they're all boys. Lindy was like, oh, take me home, take me home.
I know all about the Royal Mail upcoming overtime restructure from our postie.
It's nothing. Our postie, he's also an artist, and our kids had done this like little rockery app. Have I told you this story? It's hilarious.
No.
They'd be collecting rocks on our walks, like the younger kids. They're like pretty like rocks, and then cleaning them up. And then their plan was to make a rockery to then sell for people walking past. How much do you think we could sell this rock for? How much do you think people would buy? And I was like, the rock you found on the floor, you want to now sell? I'm not sure. Anyway, he saw this and thought it was brilliant. He said, oh, I'm an artist. I'm actually featured in the John Muir Trust gallery at the moment. I was like, off he went. But I'm there. Yeah, like you, Gary, I'm there because I can go 4 or 5 days without seeing anybody.
It's a tough gig for these kids trying to sell things on the street anymore. I walk past some kids local to us who are selling lemonade, and they need a contactless card machine. Because no one has cash.
Oh, mine hadn't thought of that. That's a bit of an investment into the business. And I'm not sure it's going to take off. I'll have to have a think. I might need to Patreon that one. Anyway, if you'd like to save some money, buy some rocks from the street, support the podcast and our partners, please consider joining Patreon. Couldn't do this without you. Also, pop over to Summit Crazy if you'd like to buy some awesome Tea and Trails merch.
Thank you to Precision Fuel and Hydration, X Miles, Beat Outdoor Sports and Protein Rebel for sponsoring this week's show.
Patrons can get 15% off over at Precision Fuel and Hydration. Also, if you'd like to try Precision Fuel and Hydration, new customers get 15% off their first order with the code CAPSLOCK T24. Also, maybe you're in the market for some Protein Rebel. You feel like you need some protein powder in your life, some collagen. I need it all. Gary and I were just saying Zoom is a little unforgiving to the old jowls. We keep taking the collagen. Maybe I just need to rub collagen straight onto my cheeks. Anyway, try it out. You can get 15% off your first order with T24, capital T in the T. Links to all our sponsors can be found in the show notes and over at www.teaandtrails.com.
I'm looking at your deets. Yeah, mirrors my week. Anyway, for how you dealing with the cold, at least. How are you doing, Eddie?
Gary, last week I was absolutely full of it. I won't lie. I've not had a cold that, because you're in the depths of it now.
My cold's much worse than yours.
Oh my I'm just waiting for Bryn to come home and be like, I need to take to my bed for the weekend. I couldn't, you can't sleep because when you sleep, you wake up and you're like, oh, you think you're going to die. You can't breathe. I did the least amount of vert I've climbed for about 20 years because I was okay to run. I'm a big believer that I keep running until something falls off, but I was all right running as long as but I couldn't breathe.
But how are you after the run? I did 2 runs and I thought, they didn't go too bad. Then I had to go for a walk. I didn't have to go for a walk. Me and George went for a walk.
And
it was the hardest journey.
Yeah, my head, everything. I would just be like, you think, I might feel a bit better if I get a bit of fresh air. And then you feel horrible. I couldn't run up any hill because I couldn't breathe. And there was so much snot flowing. Sorry, everybody. Nice. So I just chose like the flattest routes that, and then one day I'd feel okay. And I think, I'm on the way, I'm getting better. And then the next day, after the run, I'd be like, and I just felt horrible. Sometimes you can get a cold and you don't feel that horrible. I just felt like it was
your eyes. Mine get super sensitive, my eyes.
Super sensitive to computers and screens. So I just ran. It was more than easy. It was literally like old Doris down the road was probably going faster to the co-op. So I couldn't have done no way I couldn't have done a workout because there was no way that I didn't put my heart rate monitor on. What was the point? What would be the reading from that? It was not nice and I didn't feel good. I was driving the kids back from school and I just thought, I haven't felt like this proper ill for so long. And the worst thing about being ill when you're an adult is I had to go home and cook tea. Yeah. I had to go home, unpack the car, get the car, do the homework. What's your homework? I'll tell you what, 3 kids doing their homework, all in one room, all asking me, what's a prefix, Mum? What is it called when the sun goes round? Oh my God, I don't know this. Thank God for Alexa. I just ask Alexa. Alexa, what the hell is this? Trying to cook tea, and I was driving home thinking, I honestly, I don't know if I can do it. I feel so ill. I just want to go home and lie on this. I want someone to bring me fish fingers.
A takeaway night.
Oh, I wouldn't dream of that. It was beige night. It was what can go on a baking tray and go in the oven and be served with ketchup night. But I was driving home and I was thinking, they were like, Mum, you're a bit tired. You're a bit tired. You're a bit quiet. Because normally I'm like, and then I did this, kids. And then I did it. What did you do? I just thought, I'm not sure I'm going to make it. Anyway, I did make it. So I was like, right, no workouts, just going to eat. I'm just going to try and survive. Did do my strength though, Gary. I did do, you never miss your leg day.
Thank you.
We talked about it last week though. I said, so I joined what I thought was this fancy gym. It didn't work out for me, Gary. The relationship, it didn't last long. It was fine. It was a good gym, it would have been fine. But actually it was I had to drive there and it was out of my way.
Too much friction, Eddie, that
too much,
gym.
How was ever going I'd like to think that I would drive the extra 20 minutes to get there. Anyway, I was like, this is ridiculous. I'm like, how am I going to find this time in the day? Just join my little community gym that has very strange opening hours. I thought, I'm just going to go and have a look around it. It is like stepping into Russian 1970s. It is
a Rocky training gym. I love it.
It's just like a Rocky training gym, but it's got everything that I need. It's got the squat rack, it's got the weights. It's actually just got this weights room, which is a bit like a squash court, and it's got these 4 little platforms, like proper weightlifting platforms. Each has got their own weights and squat rack and bench. So if one's free, you can just go and you've got like your own little mini gym there. The only thing is, if it's not free, there's no other, you're a bit like, okay, well, I'm going to go and have to go and do something else. Anyway, luckily, every time I've been, there's been one free, and I've just like, it's a little bit, not sure when that was last cleaned. I don't think it's ever been cleaned, but we'll just go with it. I take my own
full length mirror,
foam roller. It's no mirror. So last time I went in, there was an old guy in there. Now, we never judge old guys by their, but he was warming up to do his weights. He took off his jacket and he was having a chat with I put my music on because I need to just focus, get it done. He had European Masters weightlifting champion on his t-shirt. He then went on to absolutely school me. He could get his butt down to the floor like when he was squatting. Yeah. I struggled to get my butt down 90 degrees to my knees and I was like, he was incredible. And I was not only watching side-eyeing him, but I thought he must be looking at me going, it's a disgrace to the nation. Because I spent 20 minutes rolling out my IT band before that I could do anything. Anyway, it's got exactly what I need. I haven't jumped on the treadmill up there yet, but I will do. It's got I had a little look at them and I was like, there's about 2 buttons, fast, slow. That's all that you need. But it's literally out my door, 20 meters in, done, can do it 40 minutes. Though I always think I'll be 40 minutes. I've always been out.
I wonder what the max angle on the treadmill is. What kind of incline?
I'm going to go and I wonder if I could break it. Pretty sure that I could. Guess how much it is a month, Gary?
Community gym, tenner.
£19. £19 a month. I was like, this is great. This is great. So I'll do it. I'll go. It's not the dream. This is, I think I don't want to be here. Oh my God. But I'm like, you don't want to be here, but you need to be here. So just get it in, put on a bit of Taylor and
Disney classics.
That's just I don't Disney when I weightlift, to be honest. I'm looking for something a little bit more hardcore. So Taylor Swift,
Shake it
that's
up.
about us. Anyway, I pushed my long run back and back and back all week thinking, but I can't, I can't do this. I can't breathe. I'm not going to do it. Anyway, got to Sunday, still hadn't done it. Okay, I'm going to go and do it. Got myself up, got myself out, managed 15 miles. I did like an out and back. And every mile I was bargaining with myself of turning around. Can I turn around yet? Can I turn around yet? Can I turn around yet?
What's the minimum distance for a long run?
This is what I was going to ask you. Can I call that a long run?
15, 16. Yeah, that's a long run.
To us. Everybody don't come at us, you little keyboard warriors going, to us who race over hundreds of miles. It was all that was in my skill set that day. I just thought, that's all I have the energy for. I was struggling with my knack stroop waffle to eat it and breathe. And so I thought, you know what, sometime that'll do, pig. I'm going home and then I'm going to lie down. Of course you don't, because you've got children and work to do and stuff. And I'm so lazy, Gary. No, I'm not lazy.
You are not lazy.
Do not start that with that. You are not lazy. Because Bryn is away in the week, I clean the house on a Sunday and then I just leave it. I just keep it tidy for the rest of the week because and the kids eat a hot meal at school. So I kind of just like do really simple suppers and I don't really, I wipe the sink with a wet wipe. Done. I don't do a lot of cleaning. But what I do is a Sunday, and I did think the woman's lot on a Sunday. I've been out, got up, done my long run, come back, cleaned the whole house, got everything set up, done all my work, because a lot of my work happens on the Sunday, setting everybody up for the week ahead. And I thought, I'm not super sure this is a super fun. This is hard.
Sundays are supposed to be chilled as well.
Sundays are supposed to be on Sundays, but I also know that if I have a really good Sunday, I get all my work done, I get the house ready, I do the Tesco's shop, kids are all sorted, then the rest of the week will run smoothly compared to if I don't do that and I lie on the sofa and watch.
Yeah.
Gary, we're really struggling with stuff to watch at the moment?
George and I watched Loudermilk on Netflix. I'm not too sure if it's not a family viewing.
To be honest, I wasn't asking you for recommendations because Bryn and I have started Slow Horses season 4, which we love. I know loads of people started watching that when we talked about it, but to actually get the time to watch an hour program together without a child or when we're both here, we've watched one episode and I know they're stacking up.
Race Across the World, Celebrity Race Across the World.
Yes. So that is one we might try. So anyway, the week, it was a bit beige weeks sometimes just happen, don't they? Beige and blue weeks. We got it done. We did some miles. Okay, come on. You're going to come at me now, everybody. So I still managed 70 miles, 2 gym sessions, 6,000 feet. This is why I never read
all that fishing, listeners.
This is why I never read my deets out, because people go, what? You were so ill and you did all that. But I tell you what, it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. And I did not feel good and I did not shower. And Debs is very worried about my lack of showering because we had a Zoom call on Sunday and she was like, Eddie, is there been any showering today? Your podcast seems to be full of the fact that you don't wash. And it was with a doctor who looked very worried about my undergarment hygiene. So I was like, right, before the podcast this week, I must have a shower so that Debs is not concerned. Debs, just to let you know, don't worry, I'm still not had a shower.
There'd be something wrong in the world, Eddie, if you'd come on and you said you'd been showered.
If I was fresh, can you imagine, Gary, if I turned up in like smart outfit and with like my hair done and makeup? To be fair, Gary, I don't think you'd be able to control yourself. You'd be like, it
would let you be replaced by some like AI and they just got it a bit wrong. Imagine that.
So it wasn't, when you always want your training plan to like stack up, you want the bricks to stack, you want every week to be like, another increase in my fitness. I'm really getting somewhere. But so many weeks are not that. And it's just a layer. It was a light layer of like, I kept some miles in, I got my strength done, I rolled my old IT band, and that was it. I kept everybody alive, I got my work done, and there was nothing sensational, and it wasn't anything good, but it was just another good week and of miles, and that's all I could ask for. And to be honest, this week hasn't really been much different. But then I guess
we're Thursday now.
Loads of weeks are just like that, aren't they? That we talk about consistency a lot, and sometimes just turning up every day. And I'm a big believer. I do feel fitter and stronger by just being consistent, even though. Even though, like, if you have a cold or if you're really busy and workouts get pushed or whatever, by just turning up and running every day, I feel, I can handle the load. I keep pushing to handle that load a little bit more. And always I try and have the narrative that I don't beat myself up about it, which I know is what you're going to do as we talk about the next week, is like, be kind to yourself, Eddie. What would you reply? Would it be great to have a WhatsApp chat with yourself, to have your own WhatsApp chat, to be like, oh my God, that was terrible. Oh my God, I thought I was going to run for 90 minutes and I only did an hour and I didn't feel well. And then to reply to that going, hey, sister, you got it done. You did great.
You're onto something there, Eddie. That'd be awesome.
Just my own WhatsApp chat. Anyway, so it was fine. And we did celebrate a birthday in the house, and I celebrated, because nobody ever celebrates a mother, do they, who birthed that child.
That's true.
14 years of being a mum now. Gary, shut up. I have not had a child for 14 years. I've been a mum. I know when you have babies and people go, it'll go so fast. Oh my gosh, it's going too fast.
Is he the tallest in the house now?
Yeah, he's tallest, loudest, deepest. He loves singing. He's like got a natural, like, I got the vibe. I can sing, like, just some kids can just sing. And he used to be able to sing, the old Aled Jones. Ba, 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 ba. And suddenly now he's like, belting out, like it's so deep and it's so loud. And I think when their voices drop, they don't realize how loud it is.
Does he straddle too, though? Sometimes he can do the Alan Jones.
So he's just his normal range, and then suddenly this like deep man will come in and go, "Mom, I need a cup of milk." What a joy being a mum. It is my absolute the highs, the lows, but I absolutely love being a mum. 14 years, and I almost love it more the longer it lasts. Like I loved being a mum when they're babies. I'm one of those women, when I see women with like toddlers and babies in like trolleys around the supermarket when mine are at school, I want to like, I want to go like,
no, I just think, God, I couldn't do that again.
Yeah, I do. I do think, oh God, I'm so glad I'm not working around nap schedules and stuff. But when I see mums with like, I was so heavily invested when they were little in like that daily routine of like, let's go to the park and then we'll go to the shops and then we'll go home for a nap. I loved all that. That's gone now. And what's scary is will never come back again. But I also am loving the fact now they're turning into people that you can have conversations with and you can laugh with.
Little grown-ups. I love it.
Little grown-ups, and they get life a little bit, and that minute when they go, "You're right, Mum, you're a bit tired. Can I help you with that, Mum?" Or they share something with you or you share something with them. I shared with my eldest the Fenton video where the dog goes and chases the deer. Do you remember that?
Oh, yes, hilarious.
And then he goes, Jesus. Oh my! And he thought that was the funniest thing he'd ever seen. And I thought, you move on to a time when, you can start having that more adult relationship with them. And so
Esme pulled me up. I think I sneezed or something, and she wanted me to sanitize my hands. And before COVID, I wouldn't have carried around hand sanitizer, but she argued the case, and I literally had no grounds to defend myself. So
and then you feel like you get a bit shirty with them because you're like, well, I'm busy. Did you wash your hands, Mum? Did you wash your hands or you did that, Mum? Oh, Mum. Oh,
yeah.
You
get grassed up.
Anyway, it is what it is. Another week done, and this week will be much the same. So if you're listening, why don't we just record this and we'll copy and paste for next week as well. Anyway, you had a more exciting week than I did.
I did. Started off exciting, over to the lakes for
You always go silent on me. I was like, I haven't heard from Gary. It got to, I think, Tuesday morning I messaged you because I thought, geez, it's been at least 8 hours and I haven't had a threatening message from him.
Check your emails. Two big
There's all on email.
Two big days on the trails, actually. So one was a 13 Valleys recce. Well, day one actually was a 13 Valleys recce and a Lakeland 100 recce. Nice.
Oh, I'm so pleased you're recceing that Lakeland 100 course just to like really dial in that route. What the hell? Why are you doing that?
Well, because there's a chunk on the 13 Valleys which goes from, the other way around, it goes from Boot to Coniston. So I thought, okay, we'll go from Coniston to Boot on the Lakeland 100 route and then come back on the 13 Valleys route.
I forgive you.
Because there is always that point on the Lakeland 100, and we missed it again on the recce where we crossed the water. But now we spotted a significant tree. Anybody in our little group of runners will know significant tree is a marker for on the trail. So we know where to cross the water, which is good. So yes, we ran out to Coniston, then we came back, and it was lovely of the 13 Valleys team. After we'd done the recce, we found out that they'd updated the route. So some of the trails that I ran on Monday don't need to do anymore. There's been a lot of drama over on the 13 Valleys
What's that?
Facebook group.
Tell me, I'm in a minute.
About the GPX and the insulated jackets. There's if it's adverse weather, they are requesting 2 insulated jackets, and I think some people think that's a bit too much.
What?
But
that's a lot of money for people to like.
Well, this kit list will not have just been issued yesterday. This will have been done when they've done it before the 13 Valleys. So I'm pretty sure this kit list was up on the website when I entered.
Why would you wear 2 insulated jackets?
Adverse weather. So the thing with the 13 Valleys, unlike the Lakeland 100, it's later in the year, end of September. So you've got 2 months extra to get colder, and also you go a lot higher.
I don't know any other kit list in any other race where you have to take 2 insulated jackets.
Well, me neither. But so that question has come up. But I suppose better safe than sorry. If you are high up on those high fells and you are walking and it is horrible weather, there may be 2 insulated
I totally understand its rationale. I'm not questioning that. I'm just questioning, like, if you are a woman or man of meager means and you're going to do these races and suddenly you need to find another jacket that is potentially 200, 300 pounds.
Well, like I say, I don't think it's suddenly. That adverse weather kit list has been on the kit list for as long. But yeah, it's put me in a spin. I've ordered a larger hydration vest to get, because the thing is, we all know the lakes, you get it all in 24 hours. So you could, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, you could think, oh, this is not adverse weather. Turn up on Friday.
Yeah. Oh, I hear you. I hear you, brother.
So you have to plan for adverse weather on Tuesday. Not quite chapel style. And then we came back to Coniston via Town House. I'm not too sure if you've been that part, just outside of Coniston.
No.
Oh my goodness me. Absolutely. You're not super high, so you don't have these big arduous climbs, but just such a lovely, lovely part of the lakes. Absolutely filthy start. We woke up in Coniston in the youth hostel, looked out of the window, and it was like misty rain, but it was super windy, so it just looked like horizontal driving rain as we were looking out the youth hostel. I could have binned it off. If the chat was, should we give it a miss? I don't think I would have protested too much, but it did improve as we dropped down into Hawkshead. Yeah, it became glorious. It was that bad. Both of us started in full waterproofs. That's tops and bottoms. I don't think
I've ever seen you in waterproof trousers.
No, I don't. I can't. Yeah. Oh, I was just trying to think. Even on a race, I literally can't remember the last time obviously you have to buy them. I've worn them when I've maybe finished a run and ended up maybe in Ambleside when you get really super cold and just want to put a layer on. But actually to start off a run, I don't remember doing that. But yeah, as we dropped into Hawkshead, the sun came out and then it was absolutely glorious. Got back to Coniston, drove to Ambleside and recovered with a 5-star, oh my goodness me, 5-star curried pasty. You know, I said I didn't want to go in that shop anymore because they just took card and wouldn't accept cash. So I was a bit loosey-goosey with my pricing. A lot of groaning in the car as we nibbled away on our little pasties. Yeah, it was a special.
Why were you groaning?
Satisfaction.
Oh,
complete. Complete
maybe
satisfaction.
Not the word. Lots of maybe Mourning. It is groaning. You need to say it.
There's lots of chat on compression shorts too. Compression short update. So I mentioned last week these BV shorts, compression, the Beta Sports outdoors team. They have partnered with BV Sports. They were really good. Snug, but not too snug. They are all black, no red, and they are 13 valleys approved. But yeah, not too snug.
Are they the same ones as the guy was wearing in the Wild Strudel video, the Budgie Smuggler? So they.
Oh my goodness me!
Are they that short?
Well, you know what I loved even more about that? The bands. He was doing some band work on the start line too. What?
There were two things I loved most about that. One was that his facial, like, he must have known there were cameras on him. He went for attention, let's face it, but he was deadpan. He owned it. He owned those shorts. The other thing was that I loved the fact that one of my running mates in my very select running group from Maudsley was in that video of him at the start that went viral, and now she can claim, she was like, there's 1.2 million views of me starting.
Should I do it? 13 Valleys. It could be great promotion for the podcast. Red Budgie Smugglers.
Can we get Beta Sports to talk to BV Sports compression shorts to make you a personalised pair? Tea and trails on the butt cheeks.
Logo on the cheeks.
Maybe a logo on the older...
On the crotch.
on zoom the in. Jewels. Don't need to zoom in. It'll be stretched to its limits, Gary. But we need colour. You'd also need to then, I could give you my little glute activation band workout that I give to my clients before running. Yeah. And I don't
want to give anyone bad information. Got to be
proper. No, so you could actually, this is so much good content there. People would be like, what's that exercise he's doing? And oh my God, what is that?
I can't unsee that now.
Let's do it.
Imagine that.
We're onto this now.
Oh my goodness.
Now, and we've given an insight into the listeners as to how we work and come up with these incredible ideas.
Oh yeah, that's a high-powered meeting. But I loved it. Absolutely great. 2 days on the trails.
Oh,
no benefits from a fitness point of view.
No benefits.
But I just needed it. It's been 6 or 7 weeks of sketchy training and running. I just needed 2 days on the trails just to reassure my mind and body that I can still drag it up and not feel too bad on day 3. Although I did have big time DOMs on the Wednesday. So
Did
I sacked that
you?
off. Yes, I did.
That's interesting, but good to have it then, because hopefully they'll be sort of repaired, ready, replenished.
Yeah. I didn't run Wednesday, which is quite unusual, because I do usually do something every day. So I sacked that off. But Coniston was so lovely. Normally when I go to Coniston, it's sunny all the time, or daylight at least, but it's usually Lakeland 100 weekend. So it's totally transforms Coniston for that 48 hours. To go there in September, go in a little country pub in Coniston. If I was bringing my Finnish family.
Oh, yeah. Which
classic,
you will do one day.
I'm sure it was a lovely classic English pub in the northeast, but any excuse to go to the lakes, I would take them to the pub. Oh, is it the Black Bull? I forget, I'm blanking on the name.
It's the Black Bull, yeah. It's the Black Bull in Coniston, isn't it? I've stayed there before.
But I had a miscommunication with another overseas traveller. I tried to ask him what beer he was drinking because it looked really nice. And I think he thought I was trying to steal his beer.
You pour it over your head. So you're like, get out.
Yeah, he wasn't too happy. Oh, yeah, this is another thing that's come up on. I need your advice, Eddie, as you're not my coach, but I kind of do tease some advice from you. So on the 13 Valleys, their checkpoints, they look sensational, to be honest, with a mixture of proper food, you got your jelly babies, all that kind of stuff, but also proper sports nutrition too. And they partner with Voom Nutrition. We have no affiliation with Voom whatsoever. So they've got their pocket rocket bars and they've got some other bars too. My idea is got the Precision Pure Hydration gels, chews, and their drink, but to almost save a bit of weight, really, then lean on the checkpoints for the Voom Nutrition.
I get my money's worth, Gary.
Well, yeah, and I worked it out. I worked it out. If I'm going to be out there for 30 hours, that could be about a kilo.
Yeah,
not carrying.
It's a big enough race, isn't it, that you can't carry all your fuel. You're going to have to use the checkpoints. Also, I know you had a rocky road in Lakeland 100, but and you have highs and lows of your stomach accepting stuff. So I think it's almost good to go to the checkpoints, and it's going to give you more variety of stuff that you might feel like eating. And also, it's not this is like you're really experienced runner. You've run this distance a number of times, so it's not like you're going into this like, I'm not sure. You need a better, probably more specific nutrition plan. You know when you need to eat. Those feelings. Yeah, I would definitely lean on it's just like the Centurion checkpoints. They're so good. They've got something for everything. They use Tailwind. They make that out. You can fill your bottles from that, but they also have so much food. Like you can lean on if you know that they're going to be good checkpoints. Sometimes you go to races and you're not into. There could be a chocolate bourbon and a jelly baby that someone else has picked up. You're not sure, but I think with races like this, where they pride themselves on the fact they've got.
But the reason why I like this, Lakeland 100. I did start and plan to use all my own nutrition. I think that was inspired by Andy Berry, to be honest, because he said he gelled it all the way around. But the thing, although the Lakeland 100 checkpoints are sensational, I don't think they have any sports nutrition. So these Voom bars, you will get electrolytes and you get carbohydrates too.
I've had some of those chewy bars, but they're nice, aren't they? They're like chewy.
Well, they had like a Kendall mint cake texture.
Oh, Gary, your dream.
I know. So that is my plan. Go in heavy with the chews.
I think
early
you've got
on.
to try something else as well. Like if it hasn't worked last time, don't try and do the same thing as well. Go in with a bit more of a flexy approach to it as well. See how you feel. And you might stay away from the Voom and you might do some sandwiches. You'll be
I'm just not flexy though, Eddie. I wish I was a bit loosey-goosey.
Have we learned nothing from the Lakeland 100? You said in that podcast, I wish I'd spent some more time at checkpoints and found something I could eat. So if you don't do that again, Gary, I will
learn nothing, have I?
You've learnt nothing, and you're going to have to come on the podcast and go, my name's Gareth Rates. I've learnt nothing. I just repeated. What's the definition of stupid? Just doing the same thing.
Doing all again. Yeah. So, but I'm looking forward to it. Well, there's a lot of anxiety actually around 13 Valleys.
No.
But what I am looking forward to, it's symbolism really. When I'm coming to the Vale towards the end of the race, familiar territory, you've got one last climb as you come in. Kell just be going on Blencathra, but it'd be good to see, going past Fawnside Farm cottages, things like that. I'll feel psychologically we're coming home now.
Sprinkles of your spirit are already there. Yeah.
But the rest of the week, easy miles. No, goodness me, Eddie, still no gym. I am big time. I'm big time out of the habit. I can't even motivate myself to do foam rolling or anything like that.
You've got built that strength. It's still there. Yes. When you recovered from 13 Valleys, if you're then going, I'm still not going to the gym, that's when I'm like going to be you need to rebuild. But actually in that time between Lakeland 100 and 13 Valleys, not going to the gym, it's almost like you actually wouldn't have, you've been so busy, there's been other things. Would actually that gym work, you been able to recover from it and actually use it to get stronger?
Yeah.
No. Could you have done a bit of like foam rolling? Can you still do that? And yeah, I would say like, come on, give yourself a little bit of a stretch out, roll stuff out. The minute you get that foam roller out and you get in that on that IT band and that glute, you're going to feel better. But I do think that you will have held that strength through from all the strength that work that you've done. But when it comes to a winter rebuild, then you need to do another strength block because you won't hold it again for another block. Oh no!
Music to my ears, Eddie. Hope you're right.
Hope I'm right. Oh my god! Such a man. You're such a man.
Well, it's hard to quantify, isn't it, if it's right or not? But what I did notice when I've been panicking about fitting all this kit into my hydration vest, I grabbed my little fanny pack that I've got. So I thought, okay, all this fails, I can shove some stuff in that. And yes, sad to report, I was a little bit snug on Gary's waist compared to when I left it in about July last time I used it. So that wasn't good. I didn't enjoy that little reminder of
happy times.
Have fun times. Yeah. So the rest of the week, easy miles, Sunday session. So yes, because I loaded the front up with my long runs, ended up doing the session on Sunday, which, yeah, we both agree it's not great having a big long run, but having the session looming over you on Sunday. But it was quite a big session. So 2 times 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. It said on the training plan, I think it was between 6 and 12% on the treadmill. So yes, put it to 12%. 30 minutes of graft. Absolutely loved it. I'm a bit stressed out about the whole thing, if I'm honest. I'm trying to be loosey-goosey, but that's just as much as I'd like to be. I am not.
What is stressing you? What is worrying you about it?
And this is where I don't want to, well, I've said it quite a lot, but I feel like I'm bordering on sandbagging. So I don't want to.
We all know that. We all know you do that before every race. But like, what is stressing you? Like,
I feel completely unprepared for this.
You feel unprepared. Race. Okay. So I think you have to answer that with like, right, what have I done in order to be prepared? You've got to answer that anxious little voice. You've been on the course.
Yes.
You know some of the course. You're comfortable in the lakes. You're comfortable moving in that terrain. Lakeland 100 was only just, you can almost see it round the corner. That form is there. That is there. Yeah, you might find the first 20 miles, you might think, oh, wow, what am I into? But it'll come back to you. So it's not gone anyway. It's just not been in the front bit of your brain at the moment. So it feels like it's not there, but it is there. And also we always said, this is just try and frame it as like, it's a new route. It's putting together a lot of a different race that you're not as comfortable with. It's going to be an adventure and you're going to learn. It's a really good chance as well to like, okay, can I get this nutrition right without needing to be like, come on, I'm going for a time. I need to be 20.
Well, that's what I hope. That's a lot of my anxiety because I know my personality and I just hope I can step away from that for the day or two.
But I think kudos to you for putting your hands up and go, can I step away? So in some ways it's like, and I think you might find that you can actually, once you actually start and you're like, okay, you feel a little bit sick or you feel like in order to make progress, we've got to change some things. We've got to try some things. This is a great opportunity to do that. And if it all goes tits up and it's and you feel horrible, we've got some, I saw my 800 meter coach used to say, we've got some good excuses lined up. So it's all fine. It's all fine. But don't stress. Don't, I hate it when you get like all uptight about it because it's meant to be fun.
It is. Yeah, it is. But I think this is it. It means so much to all. Running does mean so much as well. And I think that's why we feel the way we do about it. We get kind of the highs and the lows, but on paper, pretty decent week, just under 14,000 feet of vert. 1 workout, 2 long runs, a few easy miles.
I'm not ready for this race, Eddie. I'm not ready. I can't do it.
But yeah, so I've gone from, I think, about 5 weeks of doing about 30 miles to
double it.
72
double
miles. Woof. When I'm nursing, we talk about colds, I'm nursing a filthy cold.
One. I love it.
But I'm super, taking a positive, so pleased to come now. Goodness me, if I was sitting here next week talking to you, feeling like this,
horrible. Your eyes are
just literally full of Lemsips. I'm timing it so I can go Lemsip, ibuprofen, Lemsip, ibuprofen.
Oh, you are such a druggie. You are. I wouldn't take anything. You are there, propping up beach.
I don't want to suffer. Brew the Coaches this week is supported by Beta Outdoor Sports. Who are Beta Outdoor Sports, Eddie? You might be thinking, well, they are the distributors for brands like Ultimate Direction, Knock Around Sunglasses, BV Sports, the compression brand that I've been gushing over. Catula spikes. Have you used those spikes? I've got some Catula spikes.
Swear by Catula spikes. They are pretty hardcore. You want to be in proper snow and ice for Catula, but I wouldn't wear anything else if I was.
Oh, they do some. I wish, because I bought some before Two de Helvellyn, not last year, the year before, when it was frozen.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I wish I took them because everybody was like Bambi on ice, and Robbo, he had his spikes. And
Of course he did. Of course.
Instinct running, they are like trail running vests. You see that waist belt that I used on the Lake 100s, that's Instinct. And then we all know about Injin G toe socks. And this week's question comes from Jay Goulden. He's got the night sweats.
Oh, I hear you, Jay.
Can you explain why you can get so much bad night sweats after a 100-miler? What is the science behind this? What is going on inside me? For full disclosure, I have had 3 nights of night sweats after the North Downs Way 100, where I ended up with quite a swollen ankle and front of my shin. I dulled the pain with paracetamol every couple of hours from mile 30 onwards. I don't think it's serious, but I would like to understand what's happening and why. Many thanks, Jay Goulden. I've never had night sweats, but I have had.
You should do. Should be scared.
I should be scared, but I have had a swollen shin, and I just thought it was down to attrition. I'm not too sure.
These two aren't related. I would say that your swollen ankle and front of the shin, Jay, from running 100 miles, and that
who's the sweatiest, Eddie or Trish? Who's this?
Oh, Trish and I reckon we could have the best competition.
Of the liters, mate. Sweating liters and stuff.
Liters. I think I start sweating before just putting on my running t-shirt. I begin to sweat lightly. My body goes, I'm ready for this.
So you're drenched in night sweats. Are you drenched?
Jay, firstly, don't worry about this. This is perfectly normal. Don't listen to Gary. I would say 99% of us post-ultra have night sweats. It's perfectly normal. The body in a non-scientific manner is going, WTF is going on? I don't know. Am I hot? Am I cold? It's trying to reset its thermoregulatory center, basically. And it's going, what the hell? I've just done something that is off the scale. Am I awake? Am I still running? Some of you will know this feeling. You go to sleep and you're in a deep sleep and suddenly you're on a track running along. You're on the ultra. You start having that oh my God, I should be running. And you wake yourself up again. The body, the mind is in a bit of trauma, basically. And it's going the sweating. It's not only, it's trying to get rid. Some of you might find that you've got swollen. That's perfectly normal as well. You might find that suddenly you need to go to the loo a lot as well. You might find that your ankles are the same size as your thighs. It's a lot of swelling that goes on. The body has to get rid of that somehow. It does that by sweating, but it also is trying to reset itself back to a normal way of living. And it's going, I don't know how to do that. I'm going to get really, really hot and get rid of some of this fluid. If you track your HRV, that is a great way to be reassured because it'll have tanked and it'll be super low and you'll be like, yeah, my body is recovering. So actually the sweating is a good thing because it's the body resetting. Post a big event, the night sweats are truly traumatic. I leave a stack of towels by the side of the bed. I'll go to sleep lying on a towel and I will, and just in my pants, if anybody wants that image there, and I will wake up and the towel will be out and the duvet will be absolutely soaking. And then what I do is I flip the duvet over so Bryn gets the wet bit and I'll put a fresh towel down and I'll go back to sleep because sleep is very important for recovery. There's no way I'm getting up to change those sheets and duvets. Bryn gets it so bad he has to sleep in the other room and literally change the sheets and the duvet during the night. So it is perfectly normal. It's not a particularly pleasant way to recover, but within 3-4 nights you'll find that you will wake up. You'll already be there now, Jay. If it goes on longer, I would say I would be very concerned. But I would say that it is perfectly normal, and it's just the way of the body resetting. And in some ways, it will make you feel a little bit better because you have got this so much going on in your body trying to recover from these epic events. That it is your body's way of healing and getting back to that feeling a little bit more normal as well. I would just recommend as well you take a bottle of electrolyte to bed with you, light electrolyte to keep restoring some of the fluids as well. So Jay, super well done. Did Northlands Way, but I'm afraid welcome to the world of ultra running. The side of recovery is even more glamorous than the actual race itself. Trish, you mocked my towel night sweat tip. I think that was excellent.
So I just was just laughing at the bed thing because it was gross, but like well played. Well played.
You wouldn't notice, he's so fast asleep.
Yeah, the night sweats are just, I mean, they are pretty intense, aren't they? I think they're best though when coupled with like almost PTSD type nightmares, you know, when you wake up and you think you're still running and you're like, I gotta get to the air station.
And it's nearly, is it nearly always on a fire track as well? Like you're in like the worst bit of the race. Yeah, you're like, where the hell am I? What? And then you trip over your feet, and then you wake up, and oh gosh, yeah, the nights are almost worse than the actual race sometimes post long.
No. It's so, I mean, everything Eddie said there, like completely agree with. Your body is just, it's, if you think about it, you know, in terms of the intensity of what you're putting your body through, you've got huge levels of adrenaline that have gone through your body, huge levels of cortisol that's gone through your body. Your organs have been working exceptionally hard. Your muscles have been, all of these, your muscles, your organs are all being worked at overload.
Damaged.
Yeah, damage. So it's completely normal that your body then kind of has a little bit of a freak out, because it's you know, it's trying to repair it. It's working very, very hard to repair and recover all of this stuff. So yeah, they're completely normal. It is just basically overload and starting the process of recovery. So yeah, don't worry about it. It will probably happen for a few days. I find as well that it depends on the level of ultra now as well. So for like multiple day ultras, I'd say it's quite normal. I mean, for example, when I did the spine, I think I had night sweats for about 2 weeks. Which, I mean, I did have some mega injury. You
suddenly realise it's been 2 weeks, you've had the towel stack by your bed, and you go, but slowly you go down from like the swimming pool size towel, which you need, to then just maybe like a little hand towel, because it's just a light facial sweat that you get on. And I get that anyway. I think what we train so hard for these long distance events, we put so much concentration into the training, into the kit, into the race, but nobody thinks about what it's going to be like post race and the recovery. And I think then people are quite surprised when a week later they're not recovered. And you think, well, you trained, you'd not just train for a week for 100 miler and go, okay, I'm going next weekend. By the way, you need you to look after the kids because I'm going to go and run 100 miler next week. Oh, great. Off you go. You know, you're putting 12, 16, 6 months, a year's work into it. Your body is going to take a reflective amount of time to recover, especially if you've not done it before. So don't think like a week later, the body will be going, woohoo, I'm ready. Point me in the direction. Let's do this. It's going to take weeks.
100%. Don't worry about the night sweats, but give yourself the time. Like be flexible and don't rush back in.
And don't put your smart duvet on. You know, that posh one that when your mum and dad come to stay, you put on the bed. Do like, or just do what I do and just put towels down and resign yourself to a few days.
I feel like there's a lot of towels at your house, Eddie. Like if I come round, there's going to be like towels everywhere.
We've got towels for all occasions. So you've got your dog towels, you've got the old army towels, you know, those like green disgusting.
Yeah. I use my dog.
Do they actually work? Is there any toweling effect on those army towels? They're just a bit of cloth, really, that sort of...
The reason I got short hair.
Then we've got like our wedding towels that we got on our wedding list that, only special guests. Those aren't used for the post sweats. Oh my God.
We won't see those, Gary.
You won't see the red and the blue ones. No. You'll get the old Fireman Sam and Spider-Man towels with the kids' names.
Get the army
on
towels.
Yeah, you get the dog towel, Gary. You get the dog towel. Anyway, if you're getting the night sweats, it normally means as well you've been racing sensationally. So use it as good job.
Is that why I've never had them?
Yeah, so that's why, Gary, you need to try harder. So what do you get? So what if you're not sweating? Do you? I
have the dreams. I have the triggered dreams. So I'll be tripping over rocks.
Do you pee a lot post race?
Oh my goodness!
Okay, so you've got
Lakeland
loss.
Lakeland Hundreds was. I filled a 5-litre bottle.
No. Detail.
Which doesn't make sense mathematically. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense that I just literally couldn't. I didn't have that much liquid in me. But through the night, whenever I went to bed, to wake up in the morning, I'd filled up a 5-litre bottle of water.
What?
Well,
Why
water
did you
in
not
the
go to the toilet?
I couldn't be bothered. It's after Russell said with his Dragon's Back race, he had a little bottle
You're
in his
not on
tent.
Dragon's Back anymore. You're at your house, Gary.
No, I was at the Little 100 in the tent.
I don't step outside my bed and have a pee in the corner.
This is in the tent, Trish, at Little 100 the night after the race.
Even I've got standards, Gary. Even I've got standards.
Lisa would be horrified if I have a
What
wee
did you
bottle
do with
beside
that
the bed.
bottle then? What did you do with the bottle?
I just went out. Oh, God, so much information. You're going to put me under a bus here. On the way home, I pulled into a lay-by and chugged it down a drain. That's what I did.
I drunk it.
Oh, you know what? I'm going to get you, when I come back to the UK, Gary, and I see you for your birthday or Christmas, I'm going to get you one of those like old school, what are those bedpans that they...
Oh, that'd be a sensational gift. Thank you, Trish. That's what I thought.
I mean, you won't even have to aim. You can just wing it around. It'll catch it, you know?
What a vision.
The whole thing is a vision. Poor Jay.
Oh, Gary's got sprinklers inside.
Descend into chaos.
As ever, Brew with the Coaches. No wonder we don't have a sponsor for Brew with the Coaches. People think, oh my God.
Hope that helped you. Yeah, sorry about the chaos at the end. And if you see me in a lay-by 2025 Lake 100 with a questionable looking liquid as I pour it down the drain, probably best. Actually, if you see me in a lay-by, generally don't approach.
unless
Unless the window's half down, the signals. You know, if you know.
If you have a question for our coaches and you're a patron, then email hello@teaandtrails.com.
Thanks, X Miles, for sponsoring this week's interview, the One Stop Kit and Nutrition Shop. Don't forget, patrons can receive 10% off over at www.xmiles.co.uk. I did use my Patreon perk over at X Miles this week.
Hashtag not Patreon.
Kate Parker from Harrier Trails joins us this week. Another inspirational guest. Gutsy, wow, and super brave too.
This week, we are delighted to welcome, you've written the full name, Harrier Trail Running Limited founder. She's got them Harrier Trail. Kate Parker for the Tea and Trails podcast. Harriet was founded in 2020 and was born out of a desire to provide trail runners with a different option, one that offered exceptional value, thoughtful design, and outstanding quality. Gary and I have been lucky to be trying out various bits of Harrier kit. We were just talking about it before we come on air, and we'll try and drop some of the little nuggets that we've found. And so thank you very much for that, Kate. And thank you so much for joining us today as well.
Oh, thank you so much. It's really good to meet you both, and really excited to be on the podcast.
It's really interesting because lots of questions often on our Facebook group, mainly always about poles or waterproof jackets. Like, what is... And Harrier comes back repeatedly of people. You've got some loyal fans out there that say, I swear by my Harrier jacket, or I swear by my poles. So we're really excited to have you on the show and to find out a little bit more about the brand and about you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Do you find, maybe a big race like I'm getting ahead of myself. Sorry, I've gone off script. But do you find for a race, maybe like the Lake 100, a big trail race that, from an e-commerce point of view, you just see a real spike in sales, or was it pretty steady throughout the year?
Yeah, we did actually. So last year, especially around the Lakeland time, we saw a massive spike in waterproof trousers.
Excellent.
Because of course, Lake District, any time of year, that sort of race is like, yes, waterproof trousers. So we definitely do, different points of the year. And funnily enough, everybody asks me when the peak buy-in time is for trail running. You'd think it'd be summer. It's January. New Year's resolutions. Everybody gets it in January when they're feeling like ready to sign up to races and things, after you've been having a bit too much over Christmas, and January is the time.
Full of motivation, fantastic. We ask all our guests, Kate, where are you? What's the view from your window? And have you been for a run today?
Yeah, so I'm at home today. I thought I'd work from home rather than at our Harrier HQ warehouse. And it's raining outside, but it's great because we just brought out our waterproof range. So we were checking the weather forecast for the past week and we've just started pre-orders. So I was like, brilliant, rain.
Yeah.
I like autumn. Anyway, summer's too hot for me. So I'm really happy that it's turning and that it's autumn. And no, I haven't been for a run today, but usually I would always walk to work at least. But I haven't been out yet today. So I need to go out with the dog.
And what would local running be? Yeah, local trails.
Well, we're just outside of Derby. So we've got really nice trails, including the Derby Nomad Trail, which is a 50-mile route around Derby. And it takes in all of the nice little towns and villages as you skirt all the way around the edge of Derby city centre. But you never actually go into Derby city centre. And our house is located just a couple of kilometres from the start of that. And that was my first ultra back in the day. So yeah, it's fab. It's just undulating, lots of styles, lots of fields and things, nothing like incredible, but it's just really nice. So yeah, it's great.
And is it waymarked? I've never done that race or those trails. Could it be quite easy if you just rocked up to Derby to jump on there?
Absolutely. It's all waymarked. So the Derby Nomad Way, it's on every sign, and you could download a GPX as well. So the majority of it is waymarked. You probably just need a little bit of help, just, with the odd field and things like that, getting through it, but really easy.
Well, could you tell us a little about your journey as a runner? We will dive into Harrier in a bit, but yeah, how did you find the trails?
So I started running. I had a big break after school, loved running at school, then had a big break whilst I was, enjoying going out with my mates in my teens and early 20s. And then I lived in Nottingham, started road running just to get out and stay fit. But I found that in Nottingham, people used to just beep in their cars and shout. So I ended up going to Sherwood Pines, which is like a local country park. And I just run around these laps of this blue route that was, a route. And I didn't know it was trail running, but I just loved it to get away from the roads. Following that, because I loved it so much, I used to go rambling a lot with my mum. She brought me up as a single parent. We used to go rambling in the Peak District so that she could make new friends and things. We'd join hiking clubs. It was called rambling back in the day,
I prefer rambling. It sounds more fun. It sounds like there's sort of foraging and blackberry picnics.
Yeah, exactly. So we'd go around the White Peak and Lathkildale and Dovedale. And once I got a bit of confidence with the running at the park, then I started going back to the Peak District. That's when I started doing trail running, but I didn't really know that it was trail running. So I'd just go off on my own and I'd run the routes that I used to walk with my mum. And then I joined a running club, joined a little spin-off group that used to go trail and fell running. So
Excellent.
I felt
I love a running club, and there's always a spin-off group.
yes,
So,
crazies.
turn right up the footpath.
Yeah, just a little spin-off group, but I loved it, and I was really trying to get in with this little group that would go off fell and trail running. And eventually, after sort of dropping hints and sidling up next to them at various club runs, I managed to get an invite to go out with them.
Bit of mud on yourself and a bit
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And then because they used to do trickier routes and things, but I had somebody to go with, and you need that at the start, I think. If you
definitely.
go out, you need that, and it makes it so much easier and more fun. Luckily, their mindset was that they just wanted to help you get to grips with it and try new things, and they'd wait for you if it was a tricky bit and things. But it was amazing, best times ever. Loved it. So they would go out in the peaks and the lakes, and that's how it all started.
Oh, much better snacks too. Replace them the gels with pies and pasties. I love that.
Yeah, my friend can eat a tub of rice pudding whilst he's running. It's quite impressive.
That's
Feed
him on the podcast.
Yeah.
That sounds awesome. What does a typical week look like for you, Kate? Self-employed, parent, that is a juggle. I need some advice too also. I find, because of what I do, Eddie might be the same, but my lines between work and play and parenting are very blurred, and sometimes I maybe should be being a parent, but a bit of work slips into that time too. Yeah, what's the juggle like? Any tips? Asking for a friend.
Yeah, well, I've got a 2.5-year-old son, and when I started the business, I always said that I was going to start it for time with family, with my parents, with my son. It wasn't necessarily for the money. It was to have that time with my family. And so I try not to have too many blurred lines with it. So I've always had Tuesdays off. That's our family day. So we have that off. and also half of Friday as well. But I just try to keep it very separate because it's really stressful. The thing that I don't have at the moment is time for myself, because you can't do everything, right? It's business, my son, family, and that is kind of where I've been the past 2 years. So I'm sure I'll get it back when he starts school, when he's a teenager. They don't want to know us, right? So then we'll have loads of time and we can just train. But at the moment, it's kind of little bits, trips to the gym, the odd jog, a little bit of R&R work because I've got a bit of a knee injury at the moment. That's where it is at the moment. So I feel like it's a bit of a break at the moment with running, but I've seen the vet categories for women. They are hardcore. And
my goodness.
I'm going to be 40 next year, but I'm not worried because I think actually you can be at your best in your 40s with your running. So, and I can't get anyone fitter at the moment. I cannot be anyone fitter. So that's fine. I can just come back from it.
Every single run, when you decide, when you're ready and you think, yeah, I'm going to set myself a little goal. Every single run's going to be a PB. You're going to come back and you'll be ready. But you're so right. You're so right that it is so hard to juggle everything, especially when you've got I think a baby is easy in some ways. Like a baby that just sleeps and eats and goes in the pram and doesn't have an opinion is that's much easier to get out for a run. When they start walking, and then when they're 2, I think that's hardcore then, because they know mum, they want mum, and if you're working, you want to be with them. And as you say, it will fly. And before long, they'll be going, I hate you. Don't speak. How dare you turn the music down in the car because your ears are hurting.
And yeah, you're right. I remember Esme and George, you probably both the same. When they started moving, you realise that your house is just full of peril and everything looks super dangerous. Yeah. And how's the injury? You mentioned the injury. What's the prognosis for that? What kind of time frame are we looking at?
Yeah, it's a standard runner's knee injury that has taken a long time to diagnose because it's a bit of a strange one. It was actually after an ultra a few years ago, and I didn't recover for long enough. I did recover for about 2 weeks, but I went straight back into the intervals after 2 weeks, excited for cross-country season, and something went in my knee. Actually, I went to see a really good osteo. Instead of a physio, I went to see an osteo, and he said that one of my legs was longer than the other.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And it's from holding my son on my hip for 2 years. It's up my right hip and caused this knee injury to be worse. And so he did a few movements and tugs and things on me. He said, right, your legs are the right length now. So they're the same length. And actually the knee pain is gone.
Wow, fantastic.
So it was an osteo that helped me. Physio was good, and I was doing all the standard stuff, but this osteo just got me balanced again with my skeleton after having the baby. I was quite out of sync from the holding and the lifting and things. And now I'm feeling much better. So, yeah, it's funny, isn't it? I couldn't believe it.
That's why. I've only ever seen a physio. I've never been to an osteo.
I love an osteo. I love a good crack and a pull and a...
Yes.
Not yet, Eddie.
I don't like waiting in the waiting room to go in when you can hear the person in there before you going, Let's jump forward then. Where did the idea come from for Harrier trail running? What should we just call it? Harrier? What do you call
it? Harrier. Yeah.
Yeah, we're friends, Harrier. Where did the idea come from? Let's start right from the beginning.
I had a 9-to-5 job. I used to work in the agricultural industry, and I'd work with farmers with discussion groups. And so I would help them with things like business, cost of production and all those sorts of things. And I loved it. I really enjoyed it. I'd go to all these different farms. I'd look at different finances and look at costs and things, because it's really difficult being a farmer. And so the businesses have to be spot on with their costs. So I had this really good background of business and also facilitation foundation, which was, transferable skills. And a couple of my friends have been selling things on Amazon, just beauty products, stationery. And I was like, how are you doing this? Because it was 2018, 19. I was like, how have you got this business? Because I was really keen to not work for somebody because I don't like being told what to do. And I just basically wanted to work for myself. I went onto Amazon, started spending late nights looking at how to sell things. And I tried all sorts of harebrained ideas. Pond liner was a first one, which I thought was a goer.
I love that. Your friends were selling makeup and things, and you were like, pond liner, this is the thing.
Pond liner was trending though back in 2018.
Well, you have to go for the niche where nobody else is in it, you see, and that's what I was looking for.
Niche down, classic.
But then, because I love trail running, but all of my kit was secondhand because I really wanted decent stuff, but I couldn't afford it, basically, or I didn't want to pay for it, and I was quite happy with secondhand. So it was all secondhand. And then as I started looking into more about selling online, I realised that I could actually work direct with a manufacturer to create what I wanted. So I started with that, just started having a bit of a dabble, buying and selling, started with a few first aid kits and a few bivvies, sold them on Facebook. Because that was when COVID hit, so it was the end of 2019, 2020, everybody started buying online and everybody started trail running because the gyms were shut. So trail running took off. And I remember in my current job, which was the agricultural job, a marketing person there who I was friends with, I told them about it. And they said, if you're going to start your own business, your own brand, you have to just be really authentic. Don't try to be something that you're not. So I started this business saying, I'm a trail runner. It's a new business. I'm trying to get going rather than going and pretending like you're this massive company or something else. People really got behind me because I think it was that, you wanted to see this person succeed. And that's why we've had such a strong following, especially on Facebook, like you mentioned, Gary, with, people, really rooting for us and saying about the products. I think it's because they really wanted to see somebody succeed that was starting something from nothing. Just it grew from there steadily, product by product, building my knowledge, building the business and learning as I went through YouTube and things. But I always had that core background of business with profits and margins. And that's what I needed to make sure we had the foundation to grow.
I think it's phenomenal. I didn't realize, Eddie and I chatted beforehand and I thought, my goodness me, this started in COVID. That would terrify me. But because of, like you say, the situation where people went and bought online, if you were starting a bricks and mortar shop, that would have been absolutely terrifying. But yeah, I think it was probably a perfect situation in a terrible situation. But to have an online business, yeah, wow. But big, oh my goodness, made some guts to step up at that time of in those years. I remember it. Well, we all remember it anyway. But kudos. Love it.
Yeah,
tell us a little bit. Perhaps the people are listening and they're not. I know this is hard to believe. They don't know what Harrier is. So I was just listening to you, and people might be going, "Oh, what can I find? What can I find in Harrier Towers now? How far has the business come, and what could people, if they clicked on Harrier, find on the webpage, find to help them with their trail running?"
Do you know, I think there's a lot of people that still haven't heard of us, and so I look at race.
Kate, every week someone says. At least one person.
So we started with the basics, things like safety kit. So it was a bit of a vision for me that I wanted people to be able to come to the website and just see the things that were really essential for trail running. And so that was things like, it started with the safety. So it's really good to have first aid kit and a bivvy when you trail running. And then it grew to hydration, so soft bottles, bladders. And then it got to the more complex items such as the race vests, the hydration packs. So they were the first things that came out that were literally hand drawn by myself, sent to the manufacturers. Can you make this? Very dodgy first samples, very dodgy.
It must be so exciting when you get that first sample back as you decide. And you put it on and you go, no.
I mean, they're awful. I've still got them, but they're incredible. They are relics. I will never get rid of them. They're brilliant.
Maybe getting ahead of myself. Out in China or wherever they're manufactured, do they have like, here's the pole factory, here's the waterproof garment factory, here's the hydration vest or the shoes, whatever it is? Do they have factories that specialize in certain things, or is it like a one-shop all approach?
No, you'd absolutely. And it doesn't matter if it's in China, in Europe, in Vietnam. All of the factories specialize in different things. So, for example, with poles, you'd have so many different elements to poles, but you need a specialist factory in relation to assembly lines, the carbon production, the logo printing. It's all very specialist. Same with waterproof. You'd have a factory that specializes in the taped seams, working with waterproof fabrics, all those sorts of things. You'd have separate fabric mills. But it's a very small world in relation to manufacturing. There aren't huge amounts of factories, but those factories make for multiple different brands. So it's a little bit like in the agricultural industry. You'd have a large producer of chickens, but they sell to Marks and Spencer, Tesco, lots of different people. So you have that, you do have overlap with different brands. Yeah, you know, you can go to anywhere in the world. Most people do manufacture in Asia, in China, because that's where all of the comprehensive knowledge and the skills are for those type of technical garments. And then you'd have places like Turkey, which are fantastic for things like we have our socks made in Turkey and those sorts of things. So, yeah, lots of different specialties across different factories.
One of the things, Kate, that I love about the Harrier, the company and your ethos is that it's really user-friendly. It's not designed. You don't go on it and go, I don't know where to start. You might be a trail runner and go, I don't have any kit. Where do I start? If somebody was coming to you with that sort of, as lots of people probably do, come and say, right, I want to go trail running. Perhaps I've entered Lakeland 50. I've heard Gary talking about it and I want to do it. What I love about the Harrier page is that you can kit yourself out for a really good price with pretty much everything you need. Was that one of your sort of, what is it, unique selling points? Was that one of the things that when you started it, you thought, this is what I want? Somebody to be able to come and say, you know, just like you did, turn up at the running club and go, what do I need? Where can where can I find this? It's all so complicated, isn't it? When you start and you think, I don't even know where to start. And it's half a mortgage to be able to get everything that I need on this kit list.
Yeah, no, that's exactly it. So when we started, I brought out this beginner bundle. And
this is it. That's what I was trying to get to.
That's exactly what you just need. You just need a bit of water, something to carry it in, and first aid kit, you know, and second-hand pair of shoes, and you're off, you know, just to keep the simplicity there. So that was it. It was keeping down sort of the pretentiousness and also the confusion about what people actually need just to go for a little jog on the trails. It isn't as much as people think. So that was exactly it.
And now you've expanded it to waterproof jackets, waterproof trousers. Your poles are very popular with people, we've seen, because there's not. Oh, you might argue with, you'll know much more about this than I do, but the market for poles sort of is dominated by maybe a couple of big brands. What makes your poles not better in some ways, but maybe different from some of the bigger brands? I don't want to mention them because
I think people have really liked our poles because I'm really passionate about poles. So I'm a qualified Nordic walking instructor and we do loads of support materials with them. And you can pay a lot for another brand's pair of poles, but they don't give you anything with them. They don't give you any support about how to get using them as such. So I think because we've really lived and breathed helping people get started with them, explain some of the basic stuff, you know, there's no stupid questions with it and things, and I just think people have really come to us. They've seen that we are really good for that because I'm really passionate about it as the business owner.
I remember watching your videos, Kate, over on YouTube, how to use Nordic poles. Fantastic. Yeah, you know, you just Google it, and I was very naive when it comes to using running poles. So yeah, I appreciate that. Now, I've been testing out the Exmo jacket. It's a great product, and the stats, the rating of it will pass. Oh my goodness me, every probably UK race that I've entered, I think it's got that 15,000 hydrostatic head, £100 or just under £100. So it's pretty competitively priced. And also the Kubar 5-litre runner vest. Now that's great for shorter days. If I still did run commutes, that would be coming with me pretty much every day. How do you manage? Yeah, I suppose basically, how do you manage to keep the cost so low for those products? Because I did a little Google. I'm not going to mention brands like Eddie said, but I found a similar spec jacket and I think it was like £120. So yeah, significantly cheaper, the Harrier product. How do you do that?
The only reason that we can do that is because we sell direct to customer, and the other brands, they all sell through third parties, whether it's bricks and mortar independent stores or whether it's through resellers, because they're based in another country. So a lot of the bigger brands are now going back to direct customer, because it allows you to regain more control and all that sort of thing. So you can see them opening their own stores or putting a lot more into their own websites with all of them. Harry's been that from the start. That's the only reason why. There's no difference in the fabrics. There's no difference in the manufacturing, anything like that. It's just because of our business model. But for us, it kept it really simple from the start. And it was easy for me as a business owner to manage that model as direct customer rather than having to deal with lots of different routes to market. So it was a win-win.
We know we're mindful with green runners and those kind of initiatives. How does it come to the country? Is it aviation fuel or as much as possible on a ship?
People talk about sea shipping and it being green, but it's the cheapest method. So people do use sea shipping because of the cost. It's like a quarter of the price of air shipping. So that is predominantly the reason why sea shipping is used. And that is why we use it as well. So yeah, obviously it's better than aviation. There's two sides to that coin though about why people use that shipping.
Do you get panicked though if there's a ship jammed in the Suez Canal? You think, oh my goodness me, all my waterproof jackets are on that ship.
I think sometimes they're going all around the world basically trying to avoid certain areas. But you can use rail shipping and land shipping as well. There's lots of different options from anywhere. So yeah.
I can't imagine how hard it is setting up a business, Kate, and running a business. What's sort of the biggest hurdle that you faced?
Okay, good question. Plenty, that's for sure. I think there's been different hurdles at every step of the way. So when I first started the business, I was having to do every single part of the business, procurement with the supply chain, product development, marketing, finances, warehouse management, sending the parcels, everything. So that was tough because it was round the clock and also you just relying on yourself. But then when we started getting a team of people in, then I realized that, people management is the hardest thing.
Oh.
And I go back to doing it all myself. But actually, our team is fantastic. It's just because it's different, isn't it? You get used to doing everything yourself and then you have to start to work with a team. That was something different to deal with. And then anybody who's got their own business with suppliers or works with suppliers will tell you that supply chains are always difficult with the logistics in relation to shipping and ordering and all those sorts of things, quality control. So that's like something that can have headaches at certain points, but you put things in place to manage that as you go. And so things don't happen again. But really, I think the most difficult thing has just been, I had a baby like 2 years ago. That was right when the company was growing. So it has been to juggle that sense of feeling like a mother and a wife and a boss. How can you go from being a mother to then all of a sudden going into work and putting another hat on and switching it on and off? And I'm sure lots of people have that with, high pressure jobs and things. It is tricky. So that has been the most difficult thing, I think, feeling at some points you feel guilty, that you're not doing things for certain people, whether it's you're not doing things for work or you're not doing it for your family. It has been that sort of mental struggle between feeling like guilt and then feeling like you have to do something and that you can't, and being pulled in lots of different directions.
Every single woman will be nodding their head as they're running along or listening to this, Kate, and going, I hear you, sister, that there's no answer. There's no right or wrong. There's no, all that we can do is give each other hugs and just take a breath. And I always just think I can only do my best. And I can only do my best and I can only apologize. And it's normally to my kids.
Yeah.
You get tired, don't you, and then get short-tempered, and then I'm speaking for myself, not for you, Kate. I'm sure you're wonderfully tranquil, but it's such a juggle. But I guess the highs must be amazing. Have you run past anybody, or have you seen people out with Harrier kit on? What's been sort of your highest moment since you started the company?
Yeah, I do. I love it. I love it when I'm out, maybe I'm driving and I see somebody running with Harrier kit on. It's very surreal, like it still is. I absolutely love it. Or when I see people just in their race photos, or I'm at a race and things and I see people in it, I absolutely love it. It's very, like, makes me feel very proud. You see people doing these great things, looking really happy and rooting for the company as well as wanting for them to do well. And yeah, absolutely fantastic. And I think some of the high points, we won Retailer of the Year at the National Running Show Awards last year, and we've won quite a few awards with people like Women's Running as well, which has been amazing for products. So, you know, that's against like massive brands, and you just think, oh, this is happening. It's, you know, it's great. So that was fantastic moments.
I'm not going to keep saying that, I'm not going to name any brands, but some of those brands have big, deep marketing budgets, and yeah, you've punching well above your weight. But yeah, it must be super daunting sometimes.
It is daunting, definitely. Yeah, it is like that. Like you say, they've got big marketing departments, lots of budget, lots of pro athletes and things. So I think we've just had to sort of keep our head down, keep going, you know, in the way that we think. We don't tend to look at the other brands too much. We just sort of tend to keep quite a strong vision with what we want to do. And then you find your own part in the market rather than trying to do what others are doing.
Yeah.
I think that is a good philosophy for life as well.
Yeah.
I think we try to do the same with the podcast, like true to ourselves, true to our own line. Follow your line, nobody else's. Follow your own path, and people can jump on if they want. Join the party. Yeah. You can't pretend to be something you're not, because you'll soon get found out.
Absolutely.
People are very quick to find to find you out.
You're right. If I see somebody with a Teen Trails snood or a t-shirt, oh my goodness me, I get such a thrill. Even Eddie today, spotting the merch, representing.
Gary, literally.
I'm all over them, Kate.
Let's talk about the Harrier Run Free website, which is not just selling the brands, but also offers heaps of advice as well. There's a guides and stories section. Tell us a little bit about that, how that came about, Kate.
Yeah, so I have a big love of resources.
I can tell. Now I know you're the Nordic walking.
Yeah, and it's because in my last job, my agricultural job, in relation to discussion groups, I was also a resource manager. So if you needed a resource on calf management to do with calf health or trimming your cow's hooves.
I do. How did you know?
Yes, I'm a woman. So anything to do with that, I used to do hard, like paper copies of resources, video guides, all those sorts of things, and in different learning styles, because everybody's different. And so I would love that, the whole behavioural and the psyche behind getting somebody to be encouraged or motivated to make a change, because we would have to talk to farmers.
Some of those farmers, they'd be like, no, Kate, this is how we've done it.
Always done it. This is how we've always done it. Exactly. So that is why I absolutely love the resources. We've got a new Pole Pro course coming out, which is a 12-module digital course, which takes you through step-by-step learning how to use poles, walking, running, and storing them, different terrains, which type to use, how to set them up. And it's like this little 12-module plan. But you could pick up this thing, never having used poles before, and feel confident about how to use them. And then we've also got a how to run an ultra guide. So instead of just having the usual, this is a 4-month training plan on how to do it, a lot of the time it isn't the training plans, it's not the physical, it's the mental side of things. And so a lot of these modules in how to run an ultra are talking about things like your rules of failure, like, you know, what could happen to make you want to quit? Why are you doing it from the start? Have you got a really strong reason to always come back to when you don't feel like going out? Everything through to night running, confidence, to kit checks, practicing with your kit, all those sorts of things. So it's a lot more about the mental and the preparation side rather than the physical training. And that's just what I absolutely love. So we're doing a lot more of those for different levels of running, putting everything into our own content rather than doing things like paying for pro athletes to run high level races. We put a lot more into the resources for everyday runners.
I think that's one of the golden rules here of YouTube is with knowledge, entertainment, and a service. So yeah, if you're sharing knowledge over there, that's awesome.
Yeah.
What are the Harrier Trailblazers? Tell us a little bit about that.
So the Trailblazers it was an initiative that we ran this year with Threshold. Threshold events put on the big trail races like Race to the Stones, Race to the King, and they've also got their 24-hour races as well, Endure 24 at Reading and Leeds. And we wanted a little crew of runners. Threshold were doing a 50-50 campaign where they wanted to have more than 50% female runners enter their races. So they put lots of things together to help encourage more female entrants. So to go hand in hand with this, because we were one of their headline sponsors, we had the Trailblazers, which was 6 ladies. And we chose these 6 ladies because they all had different barriers to running an ultra. So one lady, Beth, she had a few health problems. She had slightly limited vision and a few other things that happened in the past, and she lost a bit of confidence. She'd done a lot of biking but hadn't done so much running. She ended up doing the 100k, by the way, rather than 50. So she was an absolute boss, incredible.
Sensational.
And then a few of the others, one lady had a long-standing injury, and then a couple of others had barriers just where their location was, had kids, all these different reasons. And we just wanted to show that we had a really great coach called Anna Marie Watson, and Anna coached them mentally and physically up to the race date to show that you could overcome these barriers. So rather than just having a random team of people, it was because we wanted to show each of these barriers for men and women that you could go on. And our strapline for that was that there's an ultra in everybody. And we thought, yes.
Oh, I love it.
And they all completed it and they were fantastic.
What does the future look like for Harrier? Any new products on the horizon? I know the resources section is going to be booming, but
yeah, so we are really forging ahead with this. With what my vision was from the start was to have a trail system, basically. So you have a selection of kit that is absolutely essential for all different types of runs and running. So whether you're going on a short warm day run or a long cold day run, we've almost got this jigsaw of pieces of products that fit together to create a trail system for the type of run that you're on. So for example, if you are going on a training run for the Lakeland 100 in March, you're going to need a base layer, really great waterproof. You're going to need different types of hydration, different types of poles, compared to going out on a spring run 10k where you'd have maybe just like a waist bag, a smaller soft bottle, those sorts of things. So we want to create this mix and match product range for any combination, for any type of runner and any type of run in UK changing weather conditions. So we've got quite a few more products that are on the horizon that are in development. Base layers, gloves, we're looking at headwear as well. We've got more socks coming in, windbreaker, different tiers of waterproofs, and a large capacity race vest. And our pole range is also being updated. So we're really going for it because we just want this complete collection and it to be perfect niche for trail runners. So yeah, lots happening in the next 2 years.
That's exciting. I always like the detailed questions. Sorry, Kate, but when you have an idea, or you sketch something on paper, what is the kind of time, the fruition? What's the time scale then before you see it actually on market?
Yes. Well, luckily now I actually found that you can have freelance designers, so they don't have my children's crayon drawings. So, for example, you'd usually have 2 to 3 rounds of samples. So you'd send a tech pack, you'd create a tech pack with a designer. From that tech pack, you'd send it to 1 or 2 suppliers. They'd make a first sample, you'd test it, you'd make another sample, test it, and then you'd have a third sample, which is your pre-production sample, which is basically how it comes is how the whole batch is going to look. So after that, you'd have 3 or 4 months of production time, depending how complex the garment is. 2 months shipping time, depending if it's ocean, road or air, which is more like 2 weeks. And so from tech pack to delivery, it would usually take about 8, 9, 10 months. So it does take a whole year to bring. At
I
least
thought you were going to say weeks, and I was going to say that's a long time.
no, not especially at the quantities. If you want a really good supply, you've got very large quantities, long lead times, and fabrics can take months. If you want a really high spec fabric, they have to make it for you, and it takes like 6 weeks to 2 months as well. So it would take a year at least to bring a new product to market.
Did you ever see things like, kind of getting a bit kind of world political, but if something happens somewhere in the world, does that affect your supply chain?
Yeah, and it has affected supply chains all over. So especially with COVID, with all different suppliers, it affected things because a lot of people's stock was delayed in manufacture over COVID. And then I don't know if you can remember, but in 2021, I think it was, or 2021, none of the stock was ready for the Christmas market, so nobody had any stock in. And then a huge glut of stock hit in March time because that's when it all came through, and it left a lot of people in a lot of difficulties. So it does. But now what people do, they use different manufacturers in different countries to spread the risk, and they have different factories creating different things. So that's what happens behind the scenes.
Kudos to stepping up. Like you said, it's a busy space and with some brands out there with big, deep marketing budgets. So it's great to see your success. And we've mentioned it a few times, we do see out on the trails. We both love the Harrier message. Yeah, a long may it continue.
Thank you. Been fab to talk to you both.
Awesome. Well, before I let you go, should we do the quick five? These are the pressing questions.
Trish, she'll have an information pack.
Have you got your phone ready, Eddie, for this first question? Just so we know. Do you remember the last thing you purchased from Amazon?
Yeah, it was some fake tan for my cousin for a birthday.
Is she going on holiday? I've had this conversation a few times lately where people get a fake tan before they go to somewhere hot, so it's like a pre-tan tan.
Yeah,
Gary, we can't all have your natural.
It's to sunbathe. I get that. Yeah.
I bought some earplugs for my daughter who's in noisy halls of residence up in Edinburgh. So yeah, hopefully she can have a peaceful night's sleep. What about you, Eddie?
I bought a clear gum shield for a middle child who after 10 days had already lost his gum shield for rugby. And then the minute you order these things and you have the conversation that goes, this is the last time, the next time it will be coming out of your pocket money. And he goes, oh, I found it. It was in my sock.
Got a reserve now.
I've got a reserve, but it's in the cupboard. It'll still come out of his pocket money.
Okay, Eddie and I were banging on your door. We're famished. We've had a day on the trails. What are you going to cook us? What is your signature dish?
Oh, well, after a long run, actually, I just quite like a cheese sandwich in the bath.
All right. I wasn't.
All right. Okay. Right.
It's like yeah.
Can of Stella, cheese sandwich.
Can I go the non-tap end? Gary can go the tap.
Yeah.
That's a bit too many people. Fantastic. I was not expecting that answer. Okay, you could be any superhero for a month. Who's he going to be?
Spider-Man's pretty cool. And my son loves Spider-Man, so I'd do that.
You would be his hero. So I think when kids actually sometimes meet their heroes dressed up, they're terrified.
Yeah. True.
Spider-Man for me, I remember having the film, oh my goodness me, I can't remember the name of the Tobey Maguire, where he saved the train. It was going to go off the tracks in New York, whatever city it was. That was a real for me. When a superhero shows their strength, they don't want to overdo it. Like Superman, he can like fly, laser buildings, but that moment where Spider-Man saved the people on the train, showed his strength. I was like, I think I cried when I saw that.
It's not real, Gary. No, it's pretend.
It is real. These people exist. Okay, it can't be running. How would you pass the time of day on a day off?
Probably road biking. I do like going out on the bike, and I like gardening. So a combination of those two.
Oh, I've got a garden that needs doing, Kate. You can come round anytime.
All right.
All right, every week on the podcast, we ask our guest to share their Instagram story music. Yeah, what's it going to be? What song can we put to our Instagram story?
Oh, I love it. Well, I got Oasis tickets and I love Noel Gallagher's High Flying Bird. So why don't we have something from Noel Gallagher or Oasis?
Did you get stitched up with the dynamic ticket pricing over a Ticketmaster?
Yeah,
or
we did. Yeah, we got robbed.
My goodness me. Well, I
We've
hope
got
you
a
have
year
a...
to pay it off.
Fingers crossed they're still together. I don't know if you did the insurance, but let's hope they're still together. They're very volatile pair. I'm sure it'll be sensational.
Give me a little bit now, negative Nancy, please.
Sorry.
Kate's the first person I've heard that's got Oasis tickets. And I tell you what it's done is my teenagers have now started. I'm not a big Oasis fan, but my teenagers, I thought I wasn't, but my teenagers are now like, Mum, have you heard of this band Oasis? Yes, I have. Oh, were they in the 60s? I was like, the 60s? Do you think I was?
It is, you're right. You're spot on. When we were in Finland, the people over there, their family over there, they were too young to remember Oasis the first time round, but they're like into Oasis now.
So we had to listen to it. But there were some. I only really know they're really well-known songs, I guess, that were played on the radio. But they were playing some songs. I was like, actually, I like this almost better than the well-known songs. So right,
I'm going to go Master Plan, Kate. If you like that one, you like Master Plan?
Oh yes, my favourite. Yes,
Well, there you go, Master Plan.
love it.
meant to be.
Where are you going to go and see them? I love all these Oasis dates.
Wembley. It's also
Oy,
it had the best
oy, oy.
logistics for older people.
It's got to think of those things. I hear you because the Taylor Swift concert. It took people like 8 hours to walk to and from. So I like your planning. Don't forget to take your tea flask
They won't let that in.
down the top. Hey, thank you so much for giving up your time. Precious working day to come on the podcast. Keep in touch with your shipping orders. Now we're absolutely obsessed. Thank you for not only the work you do, but I think a big thank you from a lot of our listeners as well, that you've enabled them to get on the trails in kit that is safe, that is comfortable, that lasts, and also a little bit of education they can find as well. You really invest in the whole community. So big thank you from all of us, me and Gaza. Let's make it sound like there's a big production behind it. We love the Harrier method. Long may it continue, and keep in touch. Hopefully see you out on the trails when you can pause, take a breath, and we can high five as we pass each other kid free.
Oh yes, yeah, love it, loved it. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thanks, Kate. Thanks. Take care.
Bye.
Oh, I love all the deets of that, Gary, of where Harrier was founded, Kate's thoughts process, her process into being able to run a business. Tell you what, we all need a bit of Kate in our life, don't we? She
had all the tools. Sometimes you have a fantastic idea, but no business sense.
She had everything, didn't she? She had everything. And I love her journey as a mum and the business role, juggling it all as well. And like, I was feeling for her when she was talking about like, do I get the juggle right and the work? And I was like, the only thing you can just emphasize, you can just be like, I hear you. We all feel the way. And sometimes you just need a nod of the head and are like, yeah, I get you. Go and check them out at www.harrierrunfree.co.uk. If you want to find out more, not just about their products, there's really good, as we talked about, resources over there as well.
I bet you if she went on Dragon's Den, she'd get the money.
Oh, yeah. She's so good. She could do anything. I almost felt like a bit like, you could do anything.
Thanks, Phoenix Light, for sponsoring our Strava Club and Tales from the Trail section. Don't forget, patrons can enjoy 10% off over at www.phoenixlight.co.uk. First up, James Martin. Yeah, he ran an ultra sub 8-minute mile in 2. That is pretty spicy with a shoe change. I can't confirm it for sure. I couldn't find the results. I think he won. Pretty sure he won that.
I think James has using an emoji that both my boys enjoy using a lot too, the goat emoji, of which they think they see themselves as. James, are you seeing yourself as a goat? I like it. Setting you still high on Strava.
That's a flex, isn't it? 69.1 miles for the week with the longest run of 30. So yeah, 50k-ish. Oh, 906 feet.
Oh, I'm not sure. I think you might need to recalibrate that. I'm not sure that you can run 70 miles with. If you do want to know where you live.
Megan James up next. Kendall Limestone Way over 2 days, 35 miles one day and 33 miles the other day. I wonder if she had DOMs, because I had DOMs. Sounds incredible. I wonder if that was the whole Limestone Way or that was just all she could do in those 2 days. I'm not familiar with that trail, but Oof, 81.3 miles for the week, 35.2 longest run, 11,345
Oh, that's a week.
feet.
That is perfection, isn't it?
Yeah. Susanna V, request to follow Susanna, so I don't know what you have been up to. I'm always unsure if it's a request to follow or it's a private Strava. Do I just skip and spin the wheel again, or to go, no, that is just fate.
Let's not judge. I think it's really important. People don't need to share you do not need to share.
Oh, goodness me, yeah.
You do not need to share Strava, and you still should be. You might still like to follow other people on Strava, and you might still like a shout out. So we don't need your deets. Don't feel you have to ever share where you're running, because it is actually, even though we do a Strava club, it is actually against all my mothering instincts to share.
Well, it's your Strava. You can always do. You can do
exactly. It's your Strava. Protect it.
But the reason why I'm curious, I suppose it's just because I don't really know what she's been up to. She's 15,282 feet with a weekly total of just under 60 miles, with the longest run of 14.8. So I'm just curious to pull at that thread. What did her week look like? But yeah, 15,000 feet of vert for a 60-mile week. That's pretty spicy. This week's heavy flex goes to Una Miles, Cotswolds Way Century, sub 24. First lady and fourth overall. That is the heavy flex. Now, I met Una the 2023 Lakeland 100, so it was lovely to see her get first lady at that race. Yeah, 103.1 miles for the week with the longest run of 103.1. Total elevation, 14,354. Oh my goodness, mate. That is sensational. Kudos. Una, and kudos to all our Strava Club members. And if you would like to be in with a chance of a random shout out, then yeah, pop over to Strava, search for Tea and Trails and join our Strava Club.
Sometimes, Gary, I'm a little bit skeptical about the Strava Club, as you know, and I think, like, is it, do we really do people want them read out? And then things happen, like Sarah Lund, who we read out last week about her dragon's back and being timed out by 23 seconds. You asked for the story, and she delivered on Facebook with her story of her dragon's back week. And so then it all comes together, and it's beautiful. And I love that. And I think she did appreciate being read out and then being able to tell a story, and everybody else being able to relate to the story. So I take it all back. I love the Strava Cup. I want more of it. Let's make it a whole podcast.
Tales from the Trails.
This week is a long one. It's from Rachel Fletcher. Hello, Eddie and Gary. Greetings from the back of the pack. This is a long one. Grab a cup. I only wish I could. Gary has rapided on so much. My cup is empty, but my bottle is full. That's a good metaphor for life, isn't it? Here we go. Race day dawned overcast. My lovely dad gave me a lift. Now, I haven't read this, so I don't know where this is going. So I'm going to start it with this jovial tone and just hope it's going to carry on like this. My lovely dad gave me a lift to the start with Dartmoor lurking under a black cloud. Kit checked and nervous wheeze completed. I walked up to the start line and set off onto the moor and into the mist. The route is steadily uphill for the first 10k or so, fortunately well marked. As expected, I soon found myself near the back of the pack, but was grateful that the tail runners hung behind enough that I never saw them. I was often following two women running together, one wearing fantastic Wonder Woman kit and the other in bright tropical print shorts. I didn't really want to run with anyone else at this stage, but it was reassuring to have them in sight. First checkpoint was 11 miles in. I was slightly ahead of my schedule and feeling good. I stopped up with water, sorted my snack stash, and off I went again. Shortly after this, I missed a turning, but fortunately a lovely man with a golden retriever told me I'd gone adrift and got back on track, with an extra half mile added to my total. Soon I was in familiar surroundings for the first time, as the path was part of our prison break route, but in reverse. On this reassuring section, I reached the halfway point, where there wasn't a checkpoint, but a handy boulder to perch on while I changed my socks. I was still feeling pretty good, but I couldn't see any other runners around me now, and the mist had turned to drizzle. I sent a cheery message and a photo of my filthy feet to my family and slogged on. The rain got heavier, the path was more exposed, my pace got slower, and with episode 49 of the podcast in my mind, I decided to be arsed and put my waterproof jacket on. I was feeling queasy, but aware I hadn't eaten enough. Oh, here we go, Gary. So slowed down to nibble on a Marmite wrap. Well done. I was in unfamiliar territory now, both in terms of the landscape and also having run as far as I'd ever run before, but still with a half marathon to cover before the finish. I knew I was near a minor road leading to the second big checkpoint Whiteworks. I briefly saw the rears of Wonder Woman and Tropical Shortswomen ahead of me again and heard some cheering, which I assumed was the imminent checkpoint. I just needed to get through this muddy gateway and maybe I'd be able to see it. The mud turned out to be mostly cow muck, and knee deep, so I waded through, questioning my life choices. Gate conquered, and smelling even worse, I squelched on up the road, past a big lay-by and an outdoor education, both of which seemed like logical places for a checkpoint, but there was no one around. I slogged on, trying to keep the rain off my phone as I checked the map and panicking that the team had hacked up their gazebo and left me behind. The road stretched ahead of me with no sign of the reassuring backs of the two women or the checkpoint. I think I shed a small tear at this point, but it was too wet to be sure. I took a swig of active root and trotted on. Just around the next corner, there was the blessed checkpoint, with a crew of enthusiastic and caring volunteers dressed as convicts and a few runners, including Wonder Woman and Tropical Shortswomen. We were plied with drinks, snacks, and reassurances that we weren't about to get swept off the course and set off again into the murk, only just hanging onto the schedule now. Wonder Woman and Tropical Shortswomen were actually Becky and Lizzie, and with their company, the next 10 miles passed more easily. Even the sections where we were somehow simultaneously trudging through a bog and hauling ourselves uphill. The rain stopped, and for a brief time, the sun came out so we could see the landscape around us. We got into a good run-walk rhythm past the last checkpoint with plenty of time to spare. The last few miles were on a track, gently sloping downhill, and Becky and Lizzie just had a bit more energy in their legs to pull away from me. I was aware of a few hot spots on my feet, but with 3 miles to go, didn't see much point in faffing about trying to fix them. I trotted on, while the others out of sight ahead of me, feeling confident that I'd be able to do it in time. I could see the finish below me, down a very steep, grassy hill. My left knee was deeply unhappy about this and refused to cooperate, slowing me to a cursing hobble. Eventually, I made it onto level ground and found I could still jog. The last short section was along the road to the rugby club where I could see my parents and kids waiting for me. I'd be lying if I said it was a sprint finish, but I managed a respectable burst of speed across the finish line, a few minutes behind Becky and Lizzie. They were probably slightly bemused by me flinging my sweaty, bramble-shredded arms around them. I'm sure they weren't. I finished 12 minutes ahead of the cutoff, which exceeded my expectations of what I could achieve. My sons are 7 and 9 and don't really understand why I got a medal for nearly being last, but hopefully seeing me do hard things will have some sort of positive influence. I couldn't have done it without the support of my husband and parents and the encouragement of Zoe, who is alone among my friends in understanding why a person might put themselves through this. But also, I couldn't have done it without everything I've learned from Tea and Trails. The training, fuel and hydration, kit and pain cave discussions all helped so much in preparing me. I still can't quite believe I've run an ultra. I've got Eddie and Gary to thank for it. Oh, happy running, Rachel. No, Rachel. We've got you to thank. Thank you for listening to the podcast. Thank you for believing in yourself, for going out and training and doing something that you thought, and perhaps many of your friends thought that you couldn't do. Gosh, I was in that mist and that murk. That is hardcore for a first ultra, navigation, all those things that you had to cope with, and you did it with a bloom and also
style.
You're right. Brilliantly as well. Well done, Rachel. Hopefully it's just the start of your journey into ultra running. And those two little boys, 7 and 9, it won't be long until they're jogging next to you and they will be signing up for running club at school. They'll be talking about what their mum does. Don't worry, they're always watching. Thanks again at Phoenix Light for sponsoring Tales from the Trails. We love your stories. We love them. Keep them coming in. Please email them to hello. Hello, it's me you're looking for. It drives Bryn mad because I always answer the phone like that. He's like wanting to have like a serious conversation about something, and I'm like,
you should do that as your answer phone message.
You're looking for. I also really need to learn the next line of the song before I can carry on. Anyway, please don't let that put you off. Please email hello@teaandtrails.com.
Friendship. Been meaning to write a review for months, but couldn't work out how.
Join the club.
And the latest episode spurred me on. Robbo talking about his support for Gary during Lake 100 is just why I listen every week. Friendship, Eddie and Gary, you make my run so happy with the winning combination of tips, stories, moans, and pretty much unfailing optimism. Well, there have been some downs thrown in. For me, friendships have grown from my love of running, and it is this inclusive and supportive nature of our sport which shines on your podcast. Keep up the good work. I feel a little lost on my weekend runs without you both. P.S. Tried to stalk Eddie in Morzine, but she's moved. We don't have any 5-star reviews, so yeah, please, if you'd like your 5-star review read out.
Come on, guys.
Thanks. Kurzfield 14.
You often say we shouldn't read them out anymore because it's a bit self-indulgent. But if we don't read them out, then
well, I ran this past Lisa too, and she went, "No, don't be stupid. Read them out."
But also it's our if we don't get any feedback, we're just talking to each other on Zoom. I love it. I love talking to you, but we might as well not record them.
We've got a competition, and thanks to Harrier Trail Running for supplying the prizes for this competition. You could win any one item from the Harrier range. You heard me right. Any one item. That's an awesome prize. You might be in the market for some running poles, hydration vest, a dry bag, or even an insulated jacket. Loads of other items over at Harrier too. Harrier has got you covered. What you need to do is pop over to our Facebook group, like the competition post, share the competition post, and in the comments of that post, pop a picture of you on the trails. We will pick a winner, not at random, so you need to up your game on the 21st of October.
As you're reading that competition post, the door behind me just opened.
Saw that really freaked me out.
But it's okay because a very small little furry brown friend just came round the corner to go, "Hi, Mom. I just
yeah.
want to say hello. I am lonely." But as you were saying it, I was like, "Oh, the ghost of Aunt Mildred has entered the building." Gary's a bit worried that he's given you all a lot of work to do for that competition, but you know it's a great prize, and so earn your keep, my friends. Like the post, share the post. Put your pictures in. Also, we just love all those
the
posts that
pictures.
we love the pictures, and we are going to choose our favorite. So you go wild. You go what? Good pictures. You know what I mean. You know what I mean, dear listener. A good picture. What's occurring, Gary?
Ooh, is it going to be a proper taper week? I've not done my workout. I've not done my long run. We are now Thursday. So I don't mind if I've done one before now. We are Thursday. We will see what happens. But the plan is, yes, I say a long run. We just talk about what is a long run. The long run, it's between 11 and 13 miles. So it's not
a week before. Yeah. Or 10 to 13. It's 10 to 12. Like probably not.
It's not huge. So whatever that is, I don't know when I'm going to do it. See if I can motivate myself to do some mobility too. Staying local. So that really gives me more time to do all the bits and bobs. Then you can do some extra jobs at home. Because trip to the lakes. I'm not getting home till 6 o'clock at night. So
no, you're not doing anything, Gary. I hear Lisa in the background pushing those pots around.
Early start and later home, and working on. I know I'm really struggling to get these reviews out consistently, but I've got a pair of Ultra Olympus.
Consistency. You haven't put a review out for like 4 months.
I did the oh my goodness, what they call the sun to a wing headphones. It was that long ago. Ultra Olympus 6 review. I've been running around a pair of those for a few weeks, so fingers crossed. Let's see how tomorrow goes. Maybe this week or next week. Fingers crossed we'll get it out.
I can't wait.
Can't wait. What about you?
I can breathe, Gary. I'm definitely feeling better. It took 10 days, I reckon. I'm pretty sure I had like bronchial pnemounia, chest. I don't know.
How's your HRV? Mine's been fine in my cold.
I don't have a watch. Don't have anything. I don't have.
Okay.
Oh, wait, have I mentioned that about my enormous gangrenous lip? I saw somebody on Facebook that had that too. So I went to put my watch on literally one morning. I went to put my watch on and my wrist is so sore. I can't wear my watch. If I put a buff over my wrist, I can put the watch on, but it's I just the admin of like having a buff when you put your watch on, but even just wearing it without running, I cannot wear my watch, and I try to wear it upside down, but then you have to like as you're running.
What a struggle, Eddie. Pray for you.
This is terrible. Have you not read it on like, your clickbait that you get when you internet search? Eddie struggles with this. Tried to wear my watch on the other hand. I can't. It like weighs me down. It feels like 10 tons. So I've got no watch. I've been I've been raw dogging my runs. How does that make you all feel, eh? I have been running free and I don't need it. I don't need it. I don't need it. I don't need a watch to tell me what I'm doing. I could pretty much dial in. I have run for so long. If you tell me run for 6 miles, I could tell you when I've run for 6 miles. I could tell you when I run for 8 miles. I can tell you what pace I'm running. I can tell you what heart rate I'm running. I don't need any feedback. I've always been good at that from when I was at school. And I used to get a piece of string and the OS maps when I was about 15 and mark the string out on the path to work out how far that I'd run.
Sticking with you when the world comes to an end.
And so that I knew, like, because I used to run like 3 miles at 10 o'clock every day when I was at school because I had a free period and I had special permission. And I used to go off and get this like 3 mile loop all around. I'd climb over the school fence and off I'd go around. I mean, I'm not sure it'd be allowed nowadays. And then
you just the other week map out some run and you spectacularly underestimated what it was going to be?
Don't pull me up on my stories. Don't try and judge my stories. That's because I tried to use modern technology and I didn't use my OS map and my piece of string. Let me finish my lovely story of my memory that probably this didn't even happen. Then I used to come back and we used to get a carton of free milk. Did you used to get that? We used to get a carton of free milk.
I used to love the free. Don't let me start on the goddamn milk.
Oh, so then they stopped that, didn't they? But that was sensational. I used to do a 30-minute run. And I think this is when the non-showering started because there wasn't any showers at school. So I just go in my tracksuit and do my half-hour run from a piece of string and my ordnance survey mat, have my free cup of milk, and then I just go off to my geography lesson or whatever it was. Those were the days. Always been smelly. Anyway. Pungent. Anyway, this week. It's gone by, Carrie. It's whizzed by. What's happening? Anyway, I'm on my runs. I have, like you, I'm doing a session on Sunday. That is planned. I'm doing my long run tomorrow. That's planned. That is done. That's dialed in. I was still
join you. Solidarity.
I was feeling pretty rubbish Monday, Tuesday. So I ran a little bit faster than my 10-minute gaze, I think that I was doing before. So it's coming back. And then this morning is the first time I ran with a bit of ping. You know, when you're like, oh yeah.
Up and about.
I'm up and about. I'm back at them. So I will do my long run tomorrow because the kids will be at school. And so it's just easier. Let's just get it done. And then I'm going to do my workout on Sunday, which will be hills because even though I going up and down little lumps, I'm missing the grind, Gary. So Sunday I'm going to grind up and down some hills. So let's see if that actually happens. And the gym, I've done one gym. I freestyled a little in the gym because there was a bit of equipment that I needed, I didn't have. So I just thought, I'll change the exercise. I gave myself such bad DOMs. I couldn't get down the stairs the next morning. My butt cheeks were so sore. What did I do to give myself such sore glutes? I can't even remember what I did, but oh, Lord above. I will do my strength tomorrow as well as my long run, and I will just go. I thought I'd done quite light weights, but obviously whatever I had done, so no DOMs, hopefully no DOMs. I always get a bit of DOMs when I try and lift heavy when I've not lifted heavy for a while. You wouldn't know because you don't go to the gym anyway. Anyway, let's hope a little bit of perkier week from me, a little taper week from you, and then next week, oh God, we're going to go through this all again, haven't we? Your anxiousness.
Oh yeah, it's building.
It's only building next week.
Oh, we come to the end of another episode. Hopefully that was a awesome insight into trail running, some audio dynamite. Some people might say,
what an insight into noise, whining to over the hill trail runners.
Thanks for tuning in, and thank you so much for sticking with us to the bitter end. Please share this episode, pop over to YouTube and subscribe. It helps loads. That's how we grow and keep showing up week after week after week. Thanks to Precision Fuel and Hydration, X Miles, Beat Outdoor Sports and Protein Rebel for sponsoring this week's show. Remember those new customer discount codes, T15 for Protein Rebel and T24 for Precision Fuel and Hydration. Thanks to our partners and patrons too. We couldn't do this without you and your ongoing support.
Be kind to your future self. Look, you need to listen to this, Gary. Breathe and believe. Progress, not perfection. Take time in all you do. And remember, there is always time for a cup of tea and a bit of a chat.
I'm going to do that. I'm going to write that on my arm. 13 Valleys. Always time for a cup of tea.
Let the trail rise up to meet you and the wind be always on your back. My name is Eddie Sutton.
And my name is Gary Thwaites.
And that was episode 88. two fat ladies of the Tea and Trails podcast.